everyone, Lady Sapphire here. So today we're getting into some murky waters where I'm going to be discussing some voyeurism, some troilism. If you don't know what that is, stick around and I will inform you of what it is and how you can still have a great relationship even if this happens to be your kink. So welcome to my show. Like and subscribe if you want to support me. And you can catch me on Twitter. I release all my videos there. So without further ado, here we go. So today, in case you didn't catch it from the intro, we're going to be discussing multiple partner fetishes as well as enjoying watching and viewing and different things like that. So a lot of these can be seen as creepy and a little bit weird, but I like to look at it as people who just like people and who need to have other stimuli in their lives outside of just one-on-one interactions. So when we're talking about voyeurism and troilism, which is a weird word, I know, but basically what it's saying is with troilism, you enjoy watching your partner having sex. Usually unnoticed. So this can be a little bit creepy, but if you are in a relationship with one of these kinds of people, you can have some fun with it if you are someone who enjoys multiple partners. Now, I know this is not for everybody. I do not want to make it seem like everyone has to rush out there and have multiple partners. That is not the case. If that just happens to be your thing, then someone with troilism might be up your alley because they enjoy watching in the show, whether you're aware of it or not. They just enjoy watching the show. You also have voyeurism or voyeuristic people who typically like to watch strangers going at it, which again comes into this multiple partner aspect where you can have your partner and bring somebody home and your partner likes to watch the show, enjoying that there is a stranger involved in the fun. Now, this can be dangerous. I do always recommend safe play no matter what you're doing. Girls, make your dental dams, and you do what you gotta do to protect yourselves. I don't really care what it is, but do what you gotta do to protect yourselves, be it condoms, dental dams, whatever else. Always play safe. But with this kind of fun, there leaves it a very big open door for a lot of potential relationships and relationship problems, which comes with my warnings. So my first warning is, if you are in a relationship with someone who's a trialist or a voyeuristic kind of person, make sure that there is no power dynamic issues. You are always doing what you want to do, they're always doing what they want to do, and everyone is happy in their consent box. Make sure that's always the case. Do not allow someone to take advantage of you or put you into a dangerous situation for their own sake of pleasure. That should never be allowed. No one should ever put you in danger, nor should you ever feel uncomfortable. So this is where the conversation's always being open and aware that this is something that I like and I want to find a partner who fits my needs. Don't try to change someone for your sake. If you are a voyeuristic person or if you are a trialistic person and you know that's what you like, don't get with the super religious, closed off kind of person and expect them to put themselves out there in a way that makes them uncomfortable or can actually be very dangerous. So please, please be cautious of that. The second thing I want to talk about outside of the watchers are the group sex people or the gangbangers. I don't really like that term. It kind of implies gangs, like Crips and Blood kind of gangs, which is not the case. We're just talking about multiple people all at once in a group sex situation, which is in fact a fetish of itself, where it's people enjoy either with the voyeuristic, traualistic aspects of watching others having a great time, or they enjoy the mystery of multiple partners. When you're with one person all the time, things can get kind of predictable. Not that everybody is like that, that's not the case for all, but it can get predictable. So when you're seeing someone who likes to have group sex or orgies or whatever you want to call them, you're really referring to somebody who likes to be surprised, who likes the unpredictableness of life. So they like the fact that they can go have a good time with some people. Usually they're not even strangers. Typically people who live this lifestyle have friends who are also in this lifestyle, and they have parties and they have things like that together. It's not very uncommon. It's not even all that odd. It can, however, lead to diseases circulating. So again, with the please always be safe. I don't judge anybody. You do what you want to do and have fun however you want to do it, but be safe, because maybe you don't want to be safe for you, but if you're in a group sex situation, you now have to protect the whole group, and the whole group is put at risk if you aren't safe, which is where the dangers of this kind of lifestyle can come into play, because not only do you have to be careful for yourself, you have to be careful that everybody else is being careful, and this can get tricky, and this can lead to separations of friendships, breakups of long-term friendships and relationships, because of diseases and because of other problems. So please be careful when you're dealing with these kinds of situations. And I'm really generalizing this whole situation because, again, these types of kinks can fall into many categories. So someone who enjoys multiple sex partners can also be a furry, or can also be into BDSM, or can also be into fantasy play. A lot of fantasy players enjoy the occasional group sex things because it does add to the fantasy. It adds to the bringing into reality what we think about in our minds, which can be a huge turn on. It can be a huge thing for someone to be able to bring a fantasy to life. So I really want to stress that don't judge these people. If you know someone in these kinds of situations, these kind of relationships, don't judge them. Encourage them to be safe. If this is your best friend we're talking about, I would not say don't tell them to use a condom, or don't tell them. No. Encourage safety at all times. Encourage safety. I don't care if it's in sex, crossing the road, going to work. Encourage safety in all things. But do not judge them. Do not call that person a whore because they occasionally like to have fun with multiple people. That doesn't mean that they are promiscuous even, because there are people who are having fun with multiple partners who never sleep with them. And it's none of your business if they're sleeping with them or not. That's not your concern. Your concern is your friend going to live to 80 with you so you can retire together? That should be all that matters to you as a person and a friend, is that person going to live a happy, healthy life? It's not our place to judge what makes them happy. It's just our place to encourage them to be healthy and to play safe. So I would encourage that. Now, I do have some warnings with the group sex stuff, which other than the sex things, other than the health of sex things, but I do have some emotional warnings. So when you're dealing with a relationship, for example, that might bring in other partners. So this doesn't have to be group sex. This can just be the occasional threesome, the occasional foursome with another couple. Situations like that still fall into this category. So when you're putting yourself into that kind of situation, make sure that all parties are consenting, nobody's boundaries are being crossed, and that you aren't forcing people into things, and that you're encouraging both sides of the partnership. So, for example, if you are a typical hetero relationship guy-girl and you have an open relationship in means of you bring other women in or other men in. Now, if your partner happens to be a bisexual and they enjoy the fact that you're bringing in your opposite sex or whatever you're attracted to, then that's fine. Everybody wins. You know, like, I'm bi, so to bring a woman home does not offend me in any way. I enjoy bringing a woman home too. But that does not mean that because he's allowed to enjoy a woman, I'm not allowed to enjoy a man if I want to. Now, that works in both ways. If he's enjoying women and not allowing you to enjoy a man, or whatever the case might be for your particular, like, relationship and your particular, oh good grief, the words are escaping me today. Anyway, whatever your preference is, there we go, whatever your preference is, enjoy it. But make sure that you are being allowed to explore your own sexuality as well. Do not say your partner can do whatever they want and think you're going to be happy in the long run, because you won't. It won't work out that way. You might think it will. You might think, oh, he's getting his woman, he's happy, I get to watch the show. But there will be a point where you'll be like, well, why don't I get to have the same enjoyment? Why don't I get to enjoy the same things? So make sure right from the get-go, when you're setting up this kind of relationship, which I think that if you are this kind of person, you are going to have a conversation at some point with your partner about it, if that is your thing. If you just learned that's your thing, then you should still be able to have a conversation with your partner. There should never be shame or guilt in just wanting to talk about something. Even if it doesn't come to fruition, even if nothing comes of it, you should still have that freedom to discuss it. And then go from there. So if you discuss it and the partner is closed off completely, isn't willing to open up any boundaries for you, then you need to shut those boundaries down. If you're not willing to open the door completely, then the door must close so that we can both be happy. And then if you're not happy with that door closed, then we're not meant to be. Because I can say from experience, I am with a person, we are very fluid in our sexualities, in different ways, of course, but we are both very fluid, and it changes up, things adjust. But you are always able to discuss. You should always be able to bring things up and conversate. I hate that word, it's a new word, but I know it's an official word now in the dictionary, so I use it, but it kind of bugs me. But if you're going to do it, should be able to be done. You should never feel bad about discussing something or feeling like you deserve an aspect of the play that's been lacking for you. So, for example, if you go to the person and go, well, I would like to bring a man home for a change. And I am just sticking to hetero because it's just easier that way to kind of symbolize. I realize it's not that simple, but I'm just generalizing for the sake of getting the point out there. But if he's not willing to let you bring a man home, then you shouldn't be willing to let him bring a woman home, if that's not your thing. If you are completely straight-laced and you do not want that woman in your bed, or it's not a personal thrill for you to have a woman in your bed, then he shouldn't expect you to do that without being willing to let you bring a man home. Even if that's not his preference, even if that's not his thing, he should be willing to make the same sacrifices that you are making for him, for you. It should never be, well, you're tolerating something for your partner and you never get to experience your fantasy or your kink or your thrill. That just shouldn't happen. And if it is happening, I am sorry that you are dealing with that, and maybe it's time to consider a new partner in the long term, because if you are not happy with your partner in the long term, you won't be happy in general. Not that sex is everything, but the expression, it's 90% of your relationship when it's bad and 10% when it's good, exists for a reason. If you are not satisfied sexually, if you are not getting that orgasm and that emotional release that you need, then you are not going to be happy in the long run. Not because your partner isn't a good person or because you aren't a good person, but because you're not reaching that sexual satisfaction that will balance out your brain. So always make sure that both parties are getting what they need from the relationship, no matter what kind of relationship, but especially if we're talking about this particular kind of kink where you have a watcher or a viewer or a participant who likes to participate with multiples. Then please make sure that you are safe and that you are satisfied and that both parties' satisfaction is important. That it's not just about one party or the other, because you will not be satisfied in the long run. You might think it makes you happy right now to just let him do what he wants or let her do what she wants, and you'll just find a way to be happy with it, but it doesn't work that way. If they don't make you happy and are not willing to communicate with you or let you communicate with them, then you will not be happy. And there's no way to fix that if they're not willing to work with you. So, as always, don't judge your friends if you know they're in these kind of situations. Don't call your girlfriend a slut because she occasionally likes to go and have some fun with a couple guys. That does not make her a slut. It makes her sexually free and liberated, and that's what true liberation's about, is that shame and guilt-free ability to do what makes us happy, no matter what that might be. As long as no one's getting hurt and you are following the laws of your government, then there are no issues with this in the long run. Now, again, play safe, always be careful, because with any sex there is a risk. It doesn't matter if you're with multiple partners or just one partner, there is always a risk. So be careful and play safe. But otherwise, let's drop the shame. Let's just drop the guilt. Let's just end this whole, oh, we need to morally justify why everyone is lesser than us because we are better in some way. That is BS, and you know it. If you're one of those people going, I'm better than everyone, you know that's not true. You need to deal with your own insecurities and your own issues and let people just live. Just let them be who they are. So again, send love to all your peoples. And I send my love out to all of you. Thank you for viewing. And again, like and subscribe below if you want to support me. And there will be an article below called something along the lines of Your Gangbang Fantasy is Normal. Check that out. It really gets into more details of what I was talking about. Again, I generalize in my videos for the sake of content. I can't get into a lot of crazy things on YouTube, so I do generalize a lot. But the article below doesn't generalize the same way. It does get into some details. It does help if you are dealing with issues of coming out as a bisexual or lesbian and how that actually can open up your sexual world. So if that's something you're dealing with, or even just gay, bi, whatever. Again, I'm so sorry that I generalized that way. I don't mean to. I'm a girl, so my brain goes one way, and I totally own that. I know it's my own problem. Sorry for that, for the gay guys who are watching this and going, well, they can be gay too, or bi and gay our way. And it's true, they could, and I don't mean to leave you out. Whatever your sexual preference might be, or if you are struggling with dealing with something, then it could be a great way to open up your doors into understanding who you are and your sexuality. So I hope you learned something. If you didn't, I hope you enjoyed the video anyway. And have a good night, guys. Bye.